So I've been working on this painting all day, and I was hoping to be a little bit further ahead than I am right now. But I'm working on another painting at the same time. It's just, I tend to be very unforgiving with myself. I always want to just get it done, just get it done. But anyway, I've reached a point with this particular girl where it looks, I realize from that angle especially, it looks wonky. But where was I going to go? Oh, I reached a point with this particular girl where I want to keep working on her face. Her eyes are too large, they're a little off, blah, blah, blah. I want to fix the sweater. I really, really want to start obsessing over stuff that I want to see fixed. But if I do that, I'm leaving the rest of the painting behind. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about just kind of forging ahead and trying not to pay attention to all the stuff that's lacking. I'm one of those people that will always look at my work and see what's lacking until I hear that click in my head that I've talked about. That thing that says, it's done, it's okay. Well, I've also got this little obsessive thing where I want that sweater to feel like a sweater now. I want it done now. This is a fireplace. I want the fireplace done, but I want the sweater to be right. I want her eyes to be uncockeyed. I want everything to be perfect before I move on to this skirt. Well, it's really kind of dumb, because in focusing on one thing, I'm leaving the rest of the painting. And mentally, it's not good. It's not good for the painting. It will show up in the end, but mentally for yourself, it's really not good. So what I have to learn to do is block it out. Not what I have to learn to do, but what I have to remember to practice is to block it out. And what I've not done in the process of trying to fix her face and bring it to a certain level and, you know, do the lines in her sweater, etc. I've left out the fireplace. I've left out this wood chest. So I've left out these darks. And it's extremely important that I get in and I find these darks, because these darks are going to affect the sweater. They're going to affect her skirt. They're going to affect her legs. They're going to affect her face. They're going to affect her the wallpaper in the background. So it's really important that I get in there and get to work and stop obsessing over her little eyeballs and her hair. And I think you're going to see what I mean in a minute when I kind of even this out. Right now I'm going in, I'm not going darky dark, I'm not using a black. That's not something that I do. I think it's a cop-out to go, not a cop-out, but I think when you go in, I didn't mean that, I think it's obvious. When you go in with, this is a dark corner, so I'm going to use black. I think you're shortchanging yourself. It's really what I mean. You're not leaving yourself the opportunity to explore what else can be done. So I'm going in with Neo Megilp, whatever you want to call it, and Gamblin Paint Company's Translucent Earth Red. It's going to give me some of the deep and dark corners that I need to think about, but without being too dark. We've got a chest there, we've got the floor there. I have a carpet down here, and I'll probably hit it up in a minute, but I think it might be a good idea to hit some of the dark spots in the fireplace. Maybe I'll go like this. I think it doesn't need to be exact. It's all fixable. Whoops, we don't need to be exact yet. What we need is the suggestion. My mom said something really interesting to me a number of years ago, and it wasn't something that had dawned on me before, but she was looking at one of my paintings, and she said, what I like about your paintings is that you give a suggestion. You don't detail things. It's just a suggestion of a hand. It's just a suggestion of a skirt. It's not every little detail. Now my mom didn't really talk to me about stuff like that very often, so it's something I took to heart. And ever since then, I've made sure to work under that definition. I thought it was an interesting thing, because I was worried I wasn't doing the right thing by, filling in every little spot with the correct detail. But my mom, who wasn't really an artist, approved and said, it works. So I've stuck with it. My dad said something interesting, though, when I was in college. He said, no matter what you draw or paint, it always looks like it could move. Your people look like they could get up and walk off the canvas or walk off the paper. And that really helped me, because I was having a hard time getting any work done at that point. So it's really stuck with me. Because my idea of, then not knowing any better, my idea of painting people was that they had to sit a certain way, and we are sitting. And now I know they can look like they can unfold their arms and get up and talk to you. One of the greatest compliments I've ever been paid was a friend of mine saw a painting I did, and she said, I would like to know her. What a huge compliment. That means it's not just a painting of a person, but that the viewer is completely drawn in. Now you can see how the darks, as light as they are, the darks are helping to pull the whole painting back. Oops, I think I got some pink in there. We'll find out. We're still working on the fireplace. That's the Neo that you hear me banging out of the jar. Now you see, I'm not painting in all these very formal shapes. I'm just doing the dark. Just doing what's dark. So I've got a notation for later. Now I love the Neo. I love what Neo does with painting, but one thing I don't like is, at this point, where it's like one of the first layers, sometimes it tends to get too shiny for me, so I'm going to wipe some of it off. I know what it's doing. It's building up a layer between the canvas and the next layer of paint, so light can come in and pop back out again. But sometimes it's just too slick and shiny for me. And I know if I leave my paintings too long before going to the next layer, it gets very thick. Not thick, but it gets too slick. So I've got to work and work and work to have painting that's pliable again. So there we are. We're doing, let me see. That's actually a corner of the fireplace, was right there. So I am going to put down a black line. But again, this is not a forever line. This has not made any massive decisions for me. It's just there. That's really good. There's a line down there, outside. I'm kind of making notes right now. There's the carpet. There's a carpet that goes in front of the fireplace. It goes down that way. And now I don't want to forget, she's sitting on a stool. So I just need a couple of dark notes there. And that's all this is. These aren't, this is so formal lines. These are, this is formally a mantle. These are just notes for later. And in this section, the wood is lighter. So I'm not going to do too much to it. Let me see. Yeah. See how the colors are changing and the balance is changing? If I didn't do this, if I obsessed over that, I would have lost out on all of this. And all the stuff in the background is going to help me to figure out the primary figure in the end, where the lights should be, how to make her pop, how to make her feel like she's going to move. And it's all because I said, screw it, we will go focus on something else. I love all these lines from the black gesso. I love working them into the painting. Sometimes I work them in, sometimes they get wiped out, but I love having them there. Look at that, that's so interesting now. So much more interesting than it was. And we'll come down here, because I've got a carpet right down here. I'm going to use this really bright yellow. And I think I'm going to leave this. This is going to be carpeting, so I don't really want it brown, I don't think. I'll shut off the camera and we'll see what happens. But this may end up being like a really deep teal, or a deep teal with midnight blue in it. And then a lighter for over here, because what I want